less lonely girl, one less lonely girl, one less lonely girl. How many I told.
So, for our project, we decided to survey 6th grade students from Metro. We tested the hours they spent on their phone compared to the hours they spent using social media. The survey type we used was a cluster sample. We obtained a list that had 6th grade teachers who had 6th graders in their 3rd hour class. We numbered the teachers' names from 1 to 4 in alphabetical order and then used the random integer function on the calculator to decide which 2 classes we would sample. We went to those 2 classes and gave all the students in those classes the survey. This is the survey. That's when you go to the survey. That was so long. Hey 6th grader, would you mind taking this survey for my stats class?
Are my parents going to hear about this?
No!
Okay. You're not in it. This is our linear regression model equation. Estimated hours on social media equals 0.15 plus 0.47 times hours on phone.
Found our line of best fit. We plugged in 5 to the equation and got 5, 2.5. We plugged in 10 to the equation and got 10, 4.9. We plugged in 15 to the equation and got 15, 7.2. And we plugged in 20 to the equation and got 20, 9.6.
This is our scatter plot of the data with our line of best fit.
In context is 0.47 hours, and it is predicted that for every 1 hour increase of phone usage, the amount of time spent on social media is increased by 0.47 hours on the phone. The y-intercept in context is when the number of hours spent on the phone is at 0, the hours on social media is 0.15 hours.
Our R-squared in context is about 53% of the hours spent on social media can be accounted for by the number of hours spent on your phone.
This is our residual plot. We think it is appropriate to use the linear model because there is no form or pattern to the dispersion of the points. A positive residual would mean they spent more hours on social media than predicted. A negative residual would mean they spent less hours on social media than predicted.
2 predictions. We are confident in our first prediction of 10 hours on the phone would mean that 6th graders spend about 5 hours on social media a day. Extrapolation is 20 hours on the phone, meaning that the 6th graders would spend about 9.5 hours on social media a day. We are not confident in this because one kid put 19 hours on social media a day, and we believe that this is unusual and probably inaccurate.
Data implied an association between the amount of time 6th graders spent on their phone compared to the amount of time they spent on social media. This is not causation because it's a predicted model and not a guaranteed model.
The types of biases that we had non-response bias for those who missed school the day we surveyed, and response bias because we were in the room as they filled out the survey. The end. The average for daily hours spent on phone was 4.5 hours, and corresponding to that, the daily hours on social media average was 2.4. The maximum for hours spent on the phone was 19 hours, and we think that might have been an outlier. And the minimum for hours spent on the phone daily was less than an hour. The maximum for hours spent on social media in a day was 8, and the minimum for that same group was less than 1 hour. On our survey, we asked the kids if their parents put any restrictions on their phone time. 5 said yes, and 23 said no. We think that the hours 6th graders are spending on social media is so high because their parents are not restricting the amount of time they spend on their phone.